Hey everyone, welcome to the show. It is that time of the year for the Dallas Open. So, as always, for the first several years and now upgrading to a 500, we have the tournament director on, Peter Lebedevs. Peter, welcome back.
Hey, good to see you, Will, mate.
So, big upgrades this year for the Dallas Open. You just sent me the doubles lineup, and I am freaking pumped for this lineup. It is a massive upgrade from previous years, and that should be expected, it being a 500 tournament. But I mean, this is a really, really great lineup. So, the first question I want to start with before we get to that, though, is typically we do this in either December or early January. Right now it is January 24th, and your tournament starts in basically less than a week. Um,
Yeah,
are you
February
the
1st.
are you the busiest person in tennis right now?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm sure not, but yeah, we're pretty busy. Our crew just started building the venue out on Wednesday, and it is going two crews, 12-hour shifts, 24/7 for the next 8 days to get this built and finished in time. So, there's 100 questions going on. It's not. I'm busy with answering questions more than anything else, and I had a player reach out saying, "Hey, are these the kind of balls we're using? Because I'm using these in my practice session, and so everything from, do we have the tunnel right under the building, to, what tennis balls we're using with the player." So it's more answering questions right now, but I'm sure the guys in Rotterdam are the same way, and Delray's not far behind us with their busy schedule either. But it's fun. I mean, you get into this business to have these weeks and have this lead up, so it's all good.
Awesome. So let's go through the lineup and then we'll talk about some of the actual kind of tournament changes, upgrading from a 250 to 500. So the very first line item here is Ben Shelton and Horatio Zeballos, which caught me by surprise. I guess Marcel Grenoyers, his typical partner, might be injured or something. But to see Ben Shelton playing the doubles again is exciting. He played last year and made the semifinals. And then if we go on down the list, we can't go through all these names, but we've got multiple Grand Slam champions. We have two All-American teams this year, Jackson Withrow and Nate Lamons, who are both local to the Austin and Dallas areas, respectively. Austin
Former
Krajcek,
champions. Yep.
former champions, exactly. Austin Krajcek lives in the Dallas area. Rajiv Ram is who he's playing with. Jamie Murray will be there. He is, I think, a former finalist there in Dallas, or maybe
Jamie
he
played with
won.
New Zealand guy Michael Venus, I think, and they won it. Nate and
Okay, they
Jackson
won
were
it.
up 6-1, 4-2 or something, a break, and then all of a sudden the live Hawkeye went down,
Oh, that's
and
right.
that 12-minute break changed everything, as we all know. A break in tennis of time. Some people might talk about the Sinner match the other day at the Australian Open. That changes everything, and then those
Hmm.
guys came back and won it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got Joe Salisbury and Neil Skupski, both Grand Slam champions, and more. So this is a really, really stacked lineup. One thing I'm curious about, and I know upgrading from 250 to 500 helps. And then during the season, as a tournament director, you're having to, um, I shouldn't say having to, but you do keep in touch with the players to sort of recruit, I guess, a little bit and try to bring players into your tournament.
100%. 100%. As a brand new tournament, they'll see a 500 in Dallas and, like anything, oh, it's new. Is it going to be any good? Do I want to go there? Now, a lot of
Hmm.
the guys sort of know what we've done with our Dallas and Atlanta 250 events, but this is a big change. So I have to go out and talk to them. I was talking to um, players probably about this time last year. I started to talk to some of them. We were talking to Casper and getting him lined up at Indian Wells last year. We're talking
Hmm.
another couple of players as well, but they have other contracts long term at some other events. So it does start with us recruiting the players. I mean, the goal is here in Dallas, a very intelligent tennis market, is make sure we bring somebody new each year. And Casper Ruud coming in for the singles, he's a new guy, three-time Grand Slam finalist, made the tour finals. So we've got three guys in the top 10 because we've got Taylor, Casper, and Tommy Paul's just in the top 10. So we got those guys, and then Ben, obviously with his run at the Aussie Open. He did actually send me an email saying he is coming. So obviously, when you get that far in the Australian Open, there's a little bit about, gosh, are the body's going to be worn out. But we got the email today that said, Ben's planning on still coming. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Are you recruiting the doubles players as well? I know the focus has to be singles since that's where most of the revenue and the market comes from. But are you recruiting doubles as well a little bit?
I'll be honest, not as much because it does come down to ticket sales and
Hmm.
also, the challenge of international TV because our broadcast goes up as a 500.
Hmm.
Prize money goes from 800,000 to 2.6 million. So that's a huge reason why the guys will want to play here. And then you
Hmm.
add on top of that the TV requirements from ATP Media. Doubles doesn't get on Stadium Court very much. So that's
Hmm.
another reason where, at the end of the day, it is a business for any promoter of these events. So they're not pushing for specific doubles teams. Now, we love the fact that Austin Krajicek is playing with Rajiv, and he trains literally, I think, 2 miles from where the event's going to be played at. So he is right around the corner. But, it is unfortunately you got to recruit the guys that can sell seats and drive the
Hmm.
revenue. So the doubles guys are not. We're not doing any recruiting on that side. And as you know too, they change partners. So who you're recruiting in this time for next year for 26, they may not be playing together.
Yeah.
So you've got all of those things going together. Look, doubles is a critical part of the event, and this year as a 500, the difference is we actually do doubles qualifying, which doesn't
Mm.
happen at any other event except the 500. So we've got four guys that are going to play, four teams are going to play off in qualies, 2 rounds or 1 round of on Saturday, and then the final playoff on Sunday. So we absolutely increase the play of doubles. We actually have more doubles players than singles players in a sense. So it's important, but we're not going out and recruiting doubles teams.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, understood. I think that's something that you know, with the TV revenue and the ticket sales, when you're talking about things like that, they make sense to me now. It's something that I'd like to see change over the next 20 years or so. But
Look,
anyways,
I don't disagree. One of those things that you saw was, I think, a tournament late last year. Novak was playing dubs.
hmm.
And, the tournament director said, I want to get Novak on Stadium Court, but TV said, no, we can't because, we've got XY singles match going on there. So if you can't get Novak on a Stadium Court, if you have him playing your doubles, that makes it
Hmm.
really hard because,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say nobody, but most tournaments don't have a huge secondary court unless you're 1,000 level that can handle that many people coming to watch Novak. So
Hmm.
it's sort of this which do you want? You want to promote doubles, then you got to let them on the center court. If you don't want them on center court, then it's this age old
Yeah.
challenge, I guess I'll say.
So for people watching this on YouTube, they'll see my background is
Yep.
the previous venue at SMU, the when it was a 250 level. You've upgraded to the Dallas Cowboys practice facility called the Star. Talk to us about that, the size of the venue, what we can expect as fans going to the tournament at the new venue.
Yeah, Ford Center at the Star is the where basically the Cowboys do everything all year. The only time they go down to AT&T Stadium is Sundays for the games. What you're going to see is, first of all, it goes from a 2,000 seat stadium to a 6,000 seat stadium. So we triple the size. Even though I love that red and blue court in the background, this year our court, because we're partnering with the Cowboys, our court will be blue and silver. So in honor of the
Oh.
Cowboys, we're changing our court color to do that. We've added some VIP seating. So this year we've got more rows of boxes, which is a standard. Then we have a second row of 120 what we call loge seats, and they are thinking like you're sitting at home in your recliner, much bigger and fluffier kind of a seat. 120
Mhm.
of those. Then we also have what we call sideline club above that. So there's 500 of those seats. So they're looking on stadium, but that area actually has a deck on top of it. So you're 3 levels up, able to look at the grandstand and the center court both times that you want. And all three of those areas have their own F&B lounge that they can go to. And then we have our 40 Love Suite that we're going to have still the same sort of scenario that we had in at SMU, but a little bit higher up. And then we've also got the quarterback corner that's a part of the Cowboys club. So we've got 5 really high-end VIP experiences for fans to choose from. The fun part is, or fun part challenge is, because it's never been built, I don't have any pictures. I have to tell you, Will, close your eyes and imagine. I promise it's going to be really good. But with all the box holders going to the Choctaw Club, they're gonna have a great time going in there. Legends, which provides all the foods for all these lounges and the Cowboys. It's going to be fantastic food that they're going to be doing and preparing. I've seen the menus and they are absolutely fantastic. So you're going to see those aspects. And then actually one of the best parts I'm excited about is the plaza outside Ford Center it's a sort of a mini football field. We're putting a giant tent like we've had the last couple of years at SMU out there, and that's our fan zone. And that's where we're going to have all of our sponsors activate. We're going to have also DTAs doing a fast serve. So we'll actually find out how fast everybody serves. We'll have a stage there for a interview with players every day and an autograph session. On Friday of the tournament, which will be the 7th, we'll actually have a couple of the CMA artists, because it's 90 days from the Country Music Awards. 2 of their artists are going to get up on our music stage and do some things. And that's free to the public. So anybody that's in the area can come in there. We'll have TVs playing their tennis. So you'll be able to get a feel of tennis and do those things to anybody that's hanging around there. And then anybody that goes into the stadium, they are able to scan in and scan out. So you can go in, watch tennis for a little while. If you want to come outside and, have a shot at serving after you've been inspired watching some of the big servers, you can come outside, have a shot at the serve, and then go back in and watch tennis. So there's no other events that I know of where you really can go in and out of the event, scanning in and out with your tickets and enjoy that sort of thing. And so we're excited about how that's going to look for the fans. And everybody, I took a group through yesterday, and as they got to the part of the venue where they could see the tent, oh, wow. When I said there's going to be a tent outside, they're like, yeah, okay. And they see the size of it, they go, oh my gosh, because it's actually longer than the one we had at SMU originally. So it's a giant tent, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a place to hang out and do some things.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited hearing about that. How many courts are you going to have this year, upgrading to
We
a
have
500?
we have 2 match courts because our draw is
Okay.
only 4 players bigger, but we actually have 4 practice courts, and the practice courts are also in the Ford Center. So the other beautiful part about this is the Omni Hotel, fantastic hotel, is connected to the venue. So when we drop the players off, and the players are all being picked up by Alto from the airports, they'll be driven in, dropped off at the Omni. They do not have to go outside for the next 9 days if they don't want to, because they go down one elevator at the Omni, walk through the parking lot, and they're in the venue. They're in their locker room. They're in their gym. They walk across the venue to the players area, because where the dining is the same dining room area that the Cowboy football players are in every day. So, and then come back, and they can, if they wanted to, they could stay inside for 9 days. Now, the Star District up there is unbelievable. We've got 17 restaurants in that area. That's a 500-yard walk from the Omni. So that's what I'm talking to the players about. And I think they're all like, really? And I'm like, I promise you, you do not have to go outside. Taylor Fritz spoke to Paul Anacone today, and he was excited to hear all of those details. Like, wow, this sounds like it should be like the best situation you have. And when you don't have to travel to practice courts or to site, that's basically saving the guys, 90 minutes to 2 hours a day between got to pack my bag, I got to get down there, get to transportation, get to the site, get out each time, there and back. That's like I say, 90 minutes to 2 hours for a player. They don't have to do that. And I think it's going to be really exciting. We don't know how the players are going to react, but I think it's going to be really positive. John Isner walked down when he was going through with it, and John was like, wow, they're going to absolutely love this. The way the locker rooms are set up and that, he's like, no, this is really good. And John's seen a few locker rooms and courts over the years. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something I don't talk about on the podcast much, but when I talk with players kind of off air, one of their biggest complaints to me as well, especially doubles players, is practice courts. They're either having to go off-site to a totally different facility that's a different surface, maybe, because they're very specific with that, or it just takes a lot of time, like you said, or it's hard to get a practice court. It's definitely a kind of a pain point for a lot of players for sure. Um,
Yeah, it's Wayne Bryan said that years ago. Look, you give me a good hotel, good food, and practice courts, and he said we're happy. And so I sort
yeah,
of always use that as a bit of a mantra. Okay, check, check, check. We
yeah,
got it covered.
yeah, absolutely. Something that just came to mind was you're talking about the Cowboys facility where this is. The Cowboys are not in the playoffs, but if they were to make the Super Bowl one year, what would that look like? I would imagine they'd still be practicing right now, if they were preparing for the Super Bowl. Is that something y'all talked about, or?
Oh, look, it is a little bit of a bugaboo. We have to build a little faster. When
Yeah,
they go to the Super Bowl, of course, that week before they're already, at that site wherever they are.
right.
It's not quite as bad as it looks.
Hmm.
But look, that is a bit of a concern. But when we talk to the Cowboys, they have a way to figure it out if that opportunity arises for them. And look, we hope they do, and that would be a champagne problem for them, and we'd love to see that. But not this year. So maybe next year we'll have that challenge to
Yeah,
overcome.
yeah, exactly. Okay, any other updates we should know about, Peter? Anything else you want to share with the audience before we hop off?
Uh, I think that's really the big parts to it is also with the 500. We only have 32 players, so we don't have any buys. So our top players are going to be playing day 1 and 2. So our top four seeds at a 250 when they have the buys, that means they don't play till Wednesday or Thursday. With this draw, we're going to have the guys playing first couple of days. So you're going to see the stars very early on, which is great. The more often fans can see the stars is better for them. The only challenge we have a little bit is Davis Cup is this weekend before our event. And so during qualies and that, so some of the guys are going to get in a little bit later, which will be a challenge because with rules, if they're coming from two continents, they've got 2 days off, sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
again, that's why we can't ever tell you, okay, we're going to have X guys are going to be playing on this day. We have to wait for that. But that's a huge bonus for us to see the top players play even more. And then, as we've always done, we've kept our commitment to SMU and developing college tennis from Sports and Entertainment with Gary Furman. Have always wanted to do that. So Travis Farger is getting a wild card into the main draw, which is great for him, obviously, and the SMU team. And I look at that when you look at that doubles field right there, you see Joe Salisbury. Well, Joe played at University of Memphis,
That's
and
right.
I gave Joe and Dave O'Hare a wild card years ago into the event in Memphis, and they played the Bryans first round, and there was like a 5-4 match. And when I saw Dave a few years later, he's like, "Look, we played that match, and after playing that match and seeing how close we were, that's what gave them the belief that they could do it." And then, as you've seen, Joe partnering with Rajiv and winning slams and number one in the world and that sort of stuff. That opportunity that Trevor's getting, that's what Joe got started on, and he became number one in the world. So, yeah, you never know what could happen from him. And, I'm finally, Joe's coming back to the event. I've always talked about recruiting. I have been recruiting Joe for a few years. I'm like, Joe, come on now. We sort of got you started here and that sort of stuff. But now that we're at 500, Joe's coming back home. So it's good.
Awesome. It'll be fun to watch. Peter, do you need any drivers? I always like to ask that. It seems like tournaments always need more drivers.
Because of our partnership with Alto, we're not actually so bad because the players don't need to get picked up from the airport. That's taken care of. So, that's one thing that this year we've had trouble because it snows and the last couple of years. And so who wants to get
Yeah,
in a brand new BMW they've never driven before, don't know where all the buttons are and drive in the snow in Dallas? But we got a great group of volunteers. But this year, I think we're pretty good on drivers because of that, the partnership with Alto, and then also the drivers that we do have. They only have to pop around Frisco up here, and shouldn't be too bad. I hope.
good,
So we'll find out.
good.
The guys will be.
But
I think what's going to happen. They're all going to say, "Hey, Peter, can you get me a discount to some of the restaurants around here? We've got some fantastic restaurants." I think that's going to be the biggest one. Like, hey, what can you do for me? But
yeah,
we'll figure that out. They'll have a great time doing that.
that's funny. Well, Peter, I'm pumped for this tournament. The lineup, like I said, looks fantastic from a doubles perspective. The singles lineup is awesome as well. I know the venue's going to be great. The Cowboys always have top tier venues, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So excited to see you in a couple weeks and check out the Dallas Open. Thanks for hopping on.
Sounds good. Thanks, Will. See you soon.